Hey guys, and welcome back to another week of Porsche Cup action here at the Silverstone circuit for week 4 of the 2024 Season 3 season. My name is Matt Emery with Coach Dave Academy. Let's get into the hot lap. So let's get into the hot lap guide then for the Silverstone circuit for week 4. The lap starts round the final corner onto the main pit straight across the line. Now making sure we keep it as far to the left as possible for turn 1, just using this curb slightly on the entry. Let me just move them out of the way for you. Just using this curb on the entry just to open up the corner as much as we can, and then carrying as much speed into the apex as possible. Slight dab of the brake on the way in, only up to about 40%, and then just trail it into the apex and then back on the throttle. Again, just trailing through with this curb on the left-hand side. It's actually quite a difficult one to balance. You notice we lift just at the midpoint here, just before we hit these curbs, or these red curbs, midway through the corner. Being really careful with the throttle, and then get it back over to the left-hand side for our braking zone. Braking marker, you're looking at about the 150 meter boards, or just after. Or just actually, it depends how confident you are on your braking. Just before the 100 meter board, anywhere between those two boards, 100 and 150. Very easy to lock up here, especially when you're turning from turn 2 still. So just be careful you're not putting too much brake pressure into the tyres and into the brakes. And then make sure you're trying to brake in a straight line as well. Down then to second gear. Just clip the apex really nicely, not touching these sausage curbs as they are absolutely huge at this circuit. So just making sure we are not touching them at all, and just all on the black and white curb. Back on the throttle in the middle of the circuit, and then get as far to the right as you can to open up the next corner, which is turn 4. Again, not touching the red sausage on the inside, second gear, and then getting on the throttle as early as we can, using all of the curb on the exit as well, and then completely flat through this left-hander onto the Wellington straight. You can afford to go slightly wide here just to take a line of least resistance. As long as you don't go too far, I think the limit is about the edge of the curb. That's absolutely fine. Now onto the Wellington straight, down towards Brooklands, and then heavy on the brakes again just before the 100 meter board. Quite good reference is just to start of this curb on the right hand side just before you start turning in. Heavy braking, then just trailing it all the way in round here. Really long corner, especially in this car. Very long braking zone. So just pay attention to the brake trace here. Just really nice and trailing all the way to the apex, third gear, and then back on the throttle. and then quite a tight corner here, just so we don't have enough time really to get the car back across. Taking a very early apex here, you'll notice we're sort of looking to V off this corner, so first apex is here. So second gear, still on the brake, and then about halfway through the corner, come off the brake pedal and start getting back on the throttle. So notice we're really wide at this part in the corner, and that's just to make sure we get a really good exit down towards Copse Corner. So you notice we apex really early, first apex there, holding onto the brake pedal, then back on the throttle, also short shift up to third. And then our second apex is also really late in the corner. That's why they call it a V shape. It's just sort of apexing once, all the way into the corner, and then get your turning done sort of midway through. As you notice, we're going really wide here, and then back onto the throttle to get the second apex and V off the corner. Using all of this AstroTurf and the curb on the exit, not a problem at all, no off track for that. And again, cutting all of this inside curb here just to take the line, the most curved line, so we don't score off too much speed. For some reason, this isn't an off track, so use it to your advantage. Just get as close to this barrier as you can on the right hand side. And then open up the next corner, Copse Corner, as much as you can, all the way to the left hand side. Braking just in line with the 100-meter board. And then getting the car nice and turned in. Braking all the way to the midpoint and making sure we're using all of this curb we can. Just to make sure the car gets hooked around. This bit of AstroTurf on the inside and these red curbs really do help get the car rotated. So to make sure you're all over this curb and all over these red panels as well. Just help get the car rotated at the apex. Back on the throttle as early as you can. And again, the limit is about the edge of the curb here. So that's where you're aiming for really. Just carry as much speed as you can through this corner. Really important to keep the minimum up. And then on the throttle as early as you can, using all of the runoff that you can as well. And then into the famous Maggots and Beckett's complex, looking to open it up again as much as possible on the outside, just getting your tyres on this curb here. And into the first apex, again, not touching the sausage curb too much. This one's not as bad as the other ones we've had around the circuit, so you can touch it a little bit. As you see, we've got our rear wheel on it slightly, which helps open up the next corner. Through the right-hander, the limit again. You don't want to be across the white line altogether, so this is just about perfect, just about right on the limit here. Not too far off the track and not leaving much to the limit as well. Back on the throttle, bit of a Mickey Mouse section this, back on the throttle, slam the brakes again, just carry it into the apex. You can take a slightly bit more curb there, just to open up the next corner, but no massive drama. Down to third gear again, just using all of the curb you can on the inside, and then on the throttle as early as you can. Third gear, and then cutting it onto the hanger straight. Keeping it in the middle here, just not to scrub off too much speed, and then bring it gradually back over to the left-hand side for a very heavy braking zone into Stowe. Just braking just before the 100-meter board in the middle of these two, so about 125 meters. Slam the brakes on, get it turned in nice and early, using all of the curb on the apex, third gear, and then on the throttle as early as you can. Bit of a tank slap on the exit. Not going to be wanting to do that too much on your race laps, just so you don't kill the rear tyres too much, so do watch out for that. This last sector is really a bit of a pain for the tyres, especially the rears. Take a bit of a beating with the traction zones. So just do take care of them. Again, the limit is just the edge of this curb here. So as long as we don't go too far, you won't pick up an off track. So just bear in mind, try and keep it within the limits as much as you can. It is a track where you're going to use a lot of off tracks, especially if you're attacking or defending from someone all race. Just bear that in mind. And then heavy braking again, about 125 meters just before the 100-meter boards on your right hand side. Down to second gear, get it turned again, not touching the sausage curb on the left hand side, using all of this curb. Down to second gear, back on the throttle, and just make sure we open up this next right-hander as much as we can for the run to the line. Again, not touching this curb. This is probably the worst one on the circuit to touch because it will just launch your car into the air. Just be really careful. It is actually quite easy to hit it and just turn in slightly too early. So yeah, just make sure you're avoiding this sausage curb as much as you can. But yeah, third gear, short shift again, and then a slight lift as we come around the final corner, and that completes a lap of the Silverstone circuit. So that was the hot lap guide then for the Silverstone circuit for week 4 of 2024 season 3. Hope that was useful for you guys. Obviously, check out all the latest data packs on coachdaveacademy.com, and also any questions you have, can leave them in the Discord below. But I will see you for next week for week 5. Take care, guys.